Many people say that the Harley Sportster is only good for short trips, short distance, around town, but I'm going to show you a few simple tips and tricks to set yourself up for success with long distance on this motorcycle. Alright everybody, what is going on? As always, thanks for stopping by to another video today. It's Eric here at the Moto John. If you're stopping by, make sure you go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with everything we got going on. Coming up on spring in Philly here. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on some of the new content we got going on. And make sure you check us out on Instagram as well, at the Moto John. We'll be setting up some rides and stuff over there. So go ahead and make sure you follow us over on Instagram as well. So obviously, as you can see, we are in the garage today again with the Harley Sportster here. And like I said at the beginning, a lot of people say that the Sportster is really only good for short trips around town. It's an around town bar hopper, small, cruiser type of bike. And I mean, there is some truth to that. So if you think about this bike, mine specifically is a 1200cc. You've got the 883 as well. It basically falls into that smaller cruiser category. It's going to be a little underpowered. It's going to be a little bit smaller, a little bit cramped up, a little bit uncomfortable. Maybe not always the best conducive motorcycle to long distance trips, whether it's on the highway or across the state or across the country. But I'm going to show you some of the ways that I have proved that wrong, some of the ways that I have set my Sportster up to have success when traveling long distance. So we're going to talk a little bit about the way that I have set this bike up for success on long distance, because I use this bike for everything from short, quick trips to weekend trips, moderate distance, long distance, thousands of plus miles. So we're going to get into some of that, how I've set the bike up, and then some of the luggage and some of the gear that I use as well to have success when I travel on this motorcycle. And of course, as always, before we get started, if you have any questions on anything we go over here with the bike, luggage, tips, tricks, any of that good stuff, make sure you drop some of those comments down there. Let me know. I'll be sure to follow up. And if you have any of your own good tips and tricks out there for traveling long distance, setting this bike up, or any bike for distance, make sure you drop those down in the comments as well. So when you think about the Harley Sportster in its stock fashion, of course, like I said, maybe not set up in the best manner to do a lot of long distance traveling, but there's a lot of simple modifications that you can do to really give yourself a good advantage when you are traveling long distance or moderate distances on this bike. So we're going to take a look at some of my modifications up close here, just a few simple ones that I did that have made traveling much more enjoyable, and then we're going to take a look at the luggage that I use as well when I travel long distance or moderate distance for weekend trips. So we're going to start here at the front of the bike. Obviously, if you're traveling long distances, maybe on the highway, things like that, you're cruising at 65 plus up towards 80 miles an hour consistently, you're probably going to want a little wind protection. And so what I have here is, of course, the Memphis Shades Cafe fairing. Memphis Shades, great company, love them, love their stuff. I love what this fairing did to the front of the bike for the look, but also to break up a little bit of wind at those high speeds when I'm traveling some of those distances. Of course, you could also get a higher windshield up here as well, which might block a little bit more wind for you, but I think for my purposes, this is the perfect combination of looks and a little bit of functionality. It breaks up just enough wind to take it off my chest here to make it just a little bit more comfortable. Obviously, you're still taking a lot of wind, but this thing's gonna cut through a little bit and remove it off of your chest. I get a ton of questions about this fairing. Of course, I've got another video out there on this specifically if you wanna go ahead and take a look at that. But that's the first thing here at the front of the bike. We've got the Memphis Shades Cafe fairing that's gonna break up a little bit of that wind. And so some of the next modifications that I have that have helped with long distance, first, you're probably gonna also wanna upgrade the seat. So of course, I've got the Saddleman step up here. I've also got another video specifically on this seat if you want more info on it. But of course, a stock saddle is not gonna be very good for you, a little uncomfy. If you upgrade that seat, it's gonna help you out in the long run. Get a lot more cushion in there, allow you to stay on the bike a little bit longer. So obviously, probably gonna upgrade that seat when you're looking at going long distances. And the final two that are really gonna help you go long distance is if you upgrade that suspension here. Of course, the stock suspension on the Sportster is absolutely terrible. I don't think anybody has anything good to say about that. So you upgrade that suspension, get a little extra travel in there, make it a little bit more cushy in combination with your seat. You're gonna be able to stay on for some longer stretches there, make those long distances a little bit more bearable. So finally, at the back here, you're probably gonna want a sissy bar to strap some gear to. Of course, you could go with saddlebags along the side. I don't specifically like that look necessarily for a Sportster. So I went with the sissy bar here. I got this on Amazon. I think this was about $100, a great modification to the bike. You're gonna be able to strap some luggage to it here on the front of where your seat is, and then also on the back with the fender as well. So you can get a nice big bag placed right here. You can strap some more stuff back here and really load up the back of this bike just with this simple sissy bar that's gonna strap all your gear, whether you're gone for days at a time, weeks at a time, all your stuff is gonna strap right here to this bar, nice and easy. So now that we've got some of those modifications, we've got our bike set up properly to efficiently and successfully go long distance. Now we're gonna take a look at some of this luggage that I've got here that I use and strap on the bike whenever I'm traveling different distances. So first off, like I said, I use this bike, I use my Sportster for literally everything. It's my only means of transportation here in Philadelphia. So everything from just short, quick trips around town, moderate trips for a whole day, even if I'm going out for a whole weekend, long trips across the state, through the interstate. So the first aspect there, if you're looking at, short, quick trips, you might just want something a little bit smaller to kind of tuck in. If you need some tools, you need some water. That's where I have the Viking swing arm bag here. This thing's gonna open up. If I'm just out for a quick run, a quick ride, whatever it might be, I've got tools in here. I can put a water bottle in here. I'll be home, in a few minutes, a few hours, whatever it might be. Just put a couple things in there. Super slick, just tucks into the side there. That's gonna really be sufficient enough for some of your quick trips around town. So then the next piece I have here is kind of a combination of two bags that luckily I was lucky enough to have this handed down to me by my father. This is gear that he actually used to use on his 2001 Dyna Lowrider. He used to strap this gear to the back of his bike. It's two pieces. There is a top piece here that's a little bit smaller. It connects to this bigger part, this bigger portion down here. We'll get to this one in just a second. But these are great pieces that I use almost every weekend when I'm out there for hours at a time, days at a time riding. And I do actually get a ton of questions when people see this luggage in my video and in some of my pictures and things. They're asking me, where did I get that? What is that? What brand is it? And I wish I could point you guys in the right direction, but honestly, like I said, this stuff is so old. It was handed down to me by my dad. I'm pretty sure this company has gone out of business because I've looked them up when people have asked me for some of this info and some of these bags. It's a company called T-Bags right here. I looked them up. I'm pretty sure they're out of business. I get questions about this stuff all the time. I wish I could direct you guys there, but like I said, I think they're out of business. But this is some really great stuff. I've been using this for a couple years now. So obviously with this being a little bit of a smaller bag here, this is good for like a day or a weekend. I can throw my camera gear in there, some food, some bottles of water. And one of the main things really is obviously it's gonna have this little strap here that's gonna slide right over your sissy bar like that. It's gonna sit on the back of your seat. It's gonna sit on the back of my saddle and step-up seat. And then you've got some straps here that I will usually just wrap around the sissy bar. Tie these to the sissy bar, make sure it's tight. And then bam, we're gonna strap it right in. Throw all your stuff in here and you're good to go. This thing, I can pack enough stuff in here for whether it's a couple hours or a weekend. I've even used this little thing if I'm just stopping real quick for something. This thing has been so valuable for me when I pack up my bike and head out on the road. So then of course, when we're really hitting those long distances, whether it's a weekend, a week at a time, going across the state, I've done a couple 1,500 mile trips. This bag right here has been absolutely amazing. Like I said, it came in conjunction with that other piece. Again, this is the brand T-Bags. Like I said, sorry, I don't have any other information on this. I'm pretty sure this company went out of business, but this bag has been amazing. I mean, tons of different pockets in here. The inside is just super deep. I've crammed so much stuff in here. I've been out on the road for like a week at a time and I've actually overpacked so much stuff in here. Computers, camera gear, clothes, shoes, workout gear, my boots, everything in there, stuffed right in there for a week at a time. This thing has been amazing. So kind of the same idea here. You've got the strap that slides right over the sissy bar. And then of course we've got kind of some backpack straps here that we can kind of loop around, tie it tight up to the sissy bar. And then of course a little extra down here, tie these around the sissy bar. And then of course we'll get it latched up into the buckle, making sure it's nice and tight. This thing sits right here on the back seat as well. Obviously strap it up nice and tight. This thing handles amazing on the highway. Yeah, it adds a little weight obviously when you're strapped down with all this gear, but this thing has been absolutely awesome on a couple 1,500 mile plus trips that I've been on. And then finally, like I mentioned earlier, if you have even more stuff that you need to strap on here, of course you've got the sissy bar here, and then of course you've got the rear fender. Grab yourself some bungee cords. You can throw another bag back there. I've thrown my backpack here back here a few times. Just strap it up, pull those bungees tight on your sissy bar, and you've got a whole other bag of stuff that you can really cram on here to this Sportster with your bag that goes in the front of the sissy bar, strap some stuff onto the back. I've even strapped my tent up here when I went camping with some of the guys down in Baltimore. Strapped the tent back up here. There really is so many different ways that you can set this up with all your gear and luggage to get everything you need on there. You don't need a big giant bagger to be out there cruising. You can do everything you want to do on this bike, the Harley Sportster. Like I said, you don't need those big crazy baggers out there. If you want to get out there on the road, go across the country, go across the state, whatever it is, this bike, if you push yourself to it, you'll probably give up before the bike does. I'm telling you, man, this bike will do anything. Strap up your stuff and you're good to go. So like I said, these are some of my tips and tricks on how you can modify this bike out to give yourself success traveling long distance, short distance, moderate distance, whatever it is. This bike is gonna do literally anything that you want it to do. And then again, some of my tips and tricks with luggage and different ways you can pack up your bike to carry all your gear on whatever trip or distance or size trip it might be. This is how you can do it. And of course, if you have any tips and tricks of how you travel long distance or how you set your bike up, whether it's a Sportster, whatever bike it might be, drop those tips and tricks down there in the comments. And if you have any questions that I might have forgot to go over, any questions about anything we did go over, or my experiences traveling long distance, make sure you drop in the comments and I'll be sure to follow up. So of course, that is gonna wrap it up for now. If anything we went over here helped you out or anything that you're interested in, make sure you go ahead and like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And as always, we'll catch you on the next one, guys. Ride safe out there. It's the Moto John. We'll see y'all on down the road. Peace.